How's it, everybody? How are you all doing? And welcome back to another video. I am KingMercurae, and in today's video we will be talking about PoE or Path of Exile 2 tips for beginners. I have been playing Path of Exile for quite some time. I'm quite seasoned and knowledgeable to the game, of the game, whatever you want to say it. And so I'm just going to impart some tips and information about the game that new players like yourself, if you're watching this video, might find interesting. It's not going to be game-breaking tips like, oh, you're going to be able to one-shot endgame bosses, but at least you'll understand some fundamentals and some things that could potentially just ease your progress that much more. Okay, so the first step that we're talking about is going to be our stats: strength, dexterity, intelligence. So strength is basically 1 strength equals 2 life. So if you look at your tree and you have any strength node, I do have one somewhere, it's going to give you, doesn't matter, it's going to give you 10 life. So if you have a strength node, it's going to give you 10 life. Dexterity is going to give you accuracy, and intel is going to give you 2 mana. So every node gives you 10 mana. So if you are a build that needs a lot of mana, then intelligence nodes will give you 10 per node, which is a lot. And like myself, I have 864 because I am very mana dependent on my build. And yeah, so also if you are not dependent on any nodes, don't just go intelligence or strength with dexterity. Don't just go like 500 dexterity. It's very smart to spread them very carefully, per se. So you can have a lot of strength, which will give you a lot of HP. That's great. If you're a physical build, you need a lot of accuracy. So, just doing them equally, if you're not dependent on anything, is a great way to have a very tanky character, also very accurate, and mana. Bountiful of mana. Okay, so the next tip, of course, is going to be evasion, armor, and effective HP. So, we'll talk about effective HP and armor, not evasion. So, effective HP and armor, it's a calculation of your life and armor. So, let's pretend I have 50% armor, right? And there's this enemy. He's going to shoot me with an arrow. The arrow is going to deal 100 damage to me. I have 50% armor. That means that I'm going to block 50% of that damage. That is, then I'm only going to take 50 damage. But let's say I have no armor and I have only 100 life, and I was shot with the same arrow, then I would be dead, right? Of course. Now let's say that I have, again, 100 armor, then, or let's say 20% armor, and then I have 100 life. Then you will calculate 100 plus 0.20 or percentage. All that will give me about so 120 HP. Now it's going to take him a bit more to kill me. It's going to take him then 2 shots instead of 1. So that's called effective HP. So that's how you calculate it. It's in Path of Exile 1 you have Path of Building, which would then just show you what your effective HP is. It's not available just yet in Path of Exile 2. I'm sure it will come along in the coming weeks, probably next year, early in 2025. So yeah. So that's effective HP. Evasion is basically if you have a lot of evasion, you have a percentage chance of being lucky. That's the term we use. It's called being unlucky, of evading that attack. I have 84%, so I will be missing a lot of attacks, and essentially I won't die. Your energy shield also calculates into your effective HP. That calculation is a bit more difficult, so I'm not going to do that on the fly, but essentially it just means that you're going to block 789 of the damage, whether it's magic or physical, straight up. So if a monster is going to do 1000 damage to me, it's going to block at least 789 of that, so you can really bump this. Energy shield is a great tool. It's not as great as armor. I think armor would be the great thing, but armor is only physical, so anything you get hit with magical, probably you will die if you don't have a lot of resist or HP. So just keep that in mind. So if you want to tank a lot of magical things that are present in Path of Exile 2, having a lot of energy shield is helpful. And there's a lot of ways of getting energy shield, so just play around with the builder. You'll probably find a good way to get some energy shield in them. I'm getting energy shield from these nodes, evasion and energy. It's using my evasion essentially, and it's giving me 1 maximum energy shield per 12 evasion. So my body armor has a shitload of evasion. It's a 1665. It's one of the highest evasion armors in the game currently. The highest that I've seen, the only higher than I've seen is 2900. So I'm pretty sure by now there's a bit more. So yeah. So that's why I have Energy Shield. It's great for my bolt, as I'm going to be using a skill gem that every time I kill something, it will increase the Energy Shield. It's probably going to go over 2000. So essentially, I'm going to be blocking a lot of damage. Okay, so that is effective HP, armor, and evasion / energy shield. Next step that we were going to talk about is resistances. Resistances are your bread and butter in this game. You absolutely 100% need to cap them. So the capping is at 75. You can uncap resistance can go up higher than 75. So this means if you are running a map, and let's see if I have one. We don't need to see that. If there's anything in here that decreases my my resistances, which there's not because I haven't modded these very well just yet, but you know, having them not on essentially is modding them very well. But anyways, if you have, let's say you have 80 and 80 uncapped resistances, and you go into a map that says -15, it's going to take from that 80 total, so then you'll have 65. So it's not going to take from your uncapped first, it will take from here. And there's more ways that it will obviously block or take some of these away. It can say from your maximum res, which will then be for the uncapped one, so it will reduce this as well. So yeah, avoid those. But yeah, essentially what you want to do is make sure that your gear, everything is up 75. For me, 73 is okay. It was maxed out, but I kind of put on this ring, Amulet, for the bolt, because I really really wanted it, and it took it down to 73, and I'm really okay with that, because like I said, I'm really tanky, so for me it's gonna work out. If you're not really tanky, 75 is a must. Next one is Chaos Resistance. That works completely on its own. It is very expensive right now to get Chaos Resistance at 75, unless you build your character around it. People are unfortunately taking advantage of that chaos damage is present in the game from an early stage, usually in Path of Exile 1, which is the predecessor of this game. Chaos Resistance wasn't that, you know, well versed. It wasn't that available to all mobs or any enemies. It was mostly pinnacle bosses and endgame maps or endgame bosses that would have chaos damage, so you really didn't need it if you were tanky enough, and if you did have it at 75, you practically were a god. So, you know, they're taking advantage of the fact that chaos resistance or chaos damage is very prevalent in the game, and that you need it. So yeah, if you are able to get out of 75 with all other resistance at 75 as well, that is a great way. Obviously, there is some nodes if you want to build your character against chaos damage. So there is a node somewhere that basically says that you are completely, I think it's up here, maximum life becomes 1, immune to chaos damage. So this is what we call a low life build. You can, if you want to do that, that's a great way. Low life builds where you get 1 HP, but you have a lot of energy shield and you're immune to chaos damage. You practically become a god, because in Path of Exile 1, players would have, I did a build like that once. I had up to like 8000 energy shield. I was just running around, you know, unstoppable. So yeah, endgame bosses was really easy for me as well. And the mechanics, you know, easy, very easy. Okay, so really important. I have 25. I feel that at 25%, at least 25 is, I would say, the minimum requirement that you will have at endgame. I'm doing tier 50 maps. I don't die really unless I play very badly, and which I sometimes do. But at 75%, at 25%, you're okay. You know, I have 1700 HP. I would say if you have less than 1500, probably get it at 75. Try your best. So yeah, that unfortunately is one of the things. Next thing that I wish to talk about with everybody is Ascendancies. Ascendancies are your, how would I say, your crumbs to your cookies. You love cookies, but you always leave some crumbs. So your crumbs are these things. There's trials that you need to do. Trials are, in this game, extremely annoying and just don't want to do them. So how do you do your trials for Ascendancies? It's your Gerneral will be your first one. Then your Inscribed Ultimatum will be your second one. Then again, this one will be your third one. And then optionally, you can do it as your fourth one as well. Unfortunately, your Inscribed Ultimatum is only your second one, not your third one, and then optionally you can have it as well as your fourth one. For me personally, I find that doing the ultimatum challenge is a lot more fun and easy, opposed to the other one, the Jinbaya, that's just stupid and absolutely hate it. They did buff it. The characters at melee, you would have received a buff that would now reduce the amount of honor damage you are taking. So it was kind of nerfed to the challenge and a buff to the characters, but still it's horrible content, and they should remove it, very quickly. Next thing I want to talk about is anointments. Anointments are fun things. So, and this is something that not a lot of creators are talking about. We'll just do it like this. So I'll take 2 of these. These are distilled ires. They are dropped when you... Oh, I have to think about it. I think it's just when you do irradiated maps, they will drop. So how these work, you just right-click them while they are in your inventory. You just right-click on them. They will open. You put them in. You can just drag and click or control-click. And then if you do a correct order, then it will give you something or the other. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so this one is not giving me anything. Let's just try with at least 2 of these. So yeah, let's try with 2 of these. Let's see if we can get something. Oh, it's really not working with me, is it? Hold on. Obviously, you can determine which you can get. Let's just do a lot of them. You can determine what you want. You can determine it very easily. I'm going to show that in a second. I just want to get just one random one going, because I should have planned ahead, shouldn't I? It's really just telling me to sick. Yeah, it's fucking with me completely now. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Of course, I probably need the amulet. Then yeah, that makes sense, right? Put in the amulet. Then it's going to show you what you get. Okay, so let's just continue. So basically, you put in these distilled emotions. I think they're called. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're called distilled. You put them in a particular order, and it will give you a buff. So this one's going to give me impenetrable shell. Defend with 150% of your armor against attacks from further than 6 meters. That is very good against ranged characters. But now you're going to be like, hey, KingMercurae, how do I determine what I want? Do I need to do it like you, like an idiot, and do infinite combos? Or is there a way to determine what you want? And it is. So for me, I am a melee character. So for me, it will be very important for maybe accuracy or more damage. I have a lot of evasion, so not concerned about that if I look at my build particularly. So maybe some more physical damage would be great. Movement speed could be great. So there's a nice little one. I believe it should be down here. Pressure points is now. No, I can't remember where it is. Excuse me. It's just like this. Then you go down here. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. If you want this one, let's say you want deterioration, which is damaging ailments cannot be inflicted on you while you already have one, then you just press Alt or whatever your inspect key is showing on your... This is the one I wanted. Tainted Strike. Sorry, now I remember. So this is increased critical hit for chance for attacks. It's really great for my build. That increased magnitude of non-damaging ailments. So it's great. So you press your inspect button. Ignore that, sorry. So it's Alt for me, and it's going to tell me you need distilled emotions. So they are ire, despair, and greed. So if I take ire, despair, and greed, and I put it on my amulet, then it's going to give me that anointment. This is a great tool for you if you want to get something very powerful on your build. That's going to basically just take you over the limit. You can get it very early on if you have a lot of emotions lying around. They're not that expensive to buy. I know the most expensive one is 500 exalts, so probably don't try to do something that requires that one. But let's pretend that I want that one, which I do. I just haven't gotten around to getting it just yet. So for me, I really want this. But if I were to not just do the emotions, I have to then spec all the way down here, lose a lot of power, because then I have like armor, I have the attack speed with one-handed weapons, which I don't have. So for me, specking all the way down here would then be a complete and utter waste of time, and so would it for you. So this is a great way of getting a nice little power boost like this. That 25% is a lot, so it's a great way of adding to your build and just making it that much stronger. So do remember to do emotions. Think about your build in a way that would make it stronger. Go through the tree. and look for something that you feel that will make it better. You can do this an infinite amount of time as long as you have the emotions. You can just keep rinse and repeating on it as much as you want to. There's no limit. Okay, next tip is currency exchange. So if you were to go on to trade, you'll see a lot of people just trying to sell stuff. Want to sell for the Ascendancy 35x. These people are crazy. Please never fall for this. There's some people that will be offering in trade. They want to buy exalted divine orbs for 40 exalts or 30 exalts, and you should never trust them because, you know, they're just going to scam you. So what you want to do is you want to go to Alva. So you go to Alva, you click currency exchange, you say you want a divine orb. So I want a divine orb. I have exalts that I'm going to use to pay for this. Then it's going to show you that currently for one divine orb, it's 73 exalted orbs. So if you are selling your divine orbs for 40, you are being scammed. So please just take the currency exchange into consideration, as Path of Exile, the developers for this game, specifically put this in because people were getting scammed in Path of Exile 1, and they felt as a community we should not trying to be doing each other in, but helping each other to, you know, just you know, prosper, I guess. So yeah. Everything is here, all the basic currency and your bubblegum currency. You can do the distilled emotions as well. So the one I was talking about is distilled isolation. It is currently 425 exalted orbs for this one. It's really expensive. So if you want to do an an anointment with this one, and you either have to drop it by playing a lot of maps, or you have to bite the bullet and pay an exorbitant amount of exalted orbs for this one. Okay, next thing we are going to talk about catalysts or qualities. So what are qualities? Qualities are a fun way of just making your gear that much stronger. So first of all, we're going to talk about armor and weapon qualities. So if you look at my weapon here, it is quality quarterstaff. Then we read it down, it's quality plus 20%. So what this does is takes all my primary stats, so that's the physical damage, so 257 to 431, and the cold damage 17 to 31, and it increases it as the quality goes up. I'm going to see if I have any items here to demonstrate this. Maybe I do. So here is a weapon. It's corrupted, so I can't use that one. Okay, so this is a great one. This is 20 exalted orbs. Its quality is 0 currently. So we'll go here. We'll use the blacksmith whetstone, which is specifically for material weapons. So material weapons are rares, commons, and magics. You can use also, and uniques as well, of course. So as I quality it, you'll see that the physical damage is going to increase all the way 56, again 57, 52, 86, 58 to 87. You see, as that happens, you can make the weapon a lot stronger. Okay, so the numerical value that you do get on the percentage is random. So it sometimes might give you 1%, sometimes might give you 2%, sometimes it might even give you 3%. So that is very random, and you cannot determine the numerical value that you will get from qualities. But just, you know, keep doing it until you hit 20. Okay, so that is your weapon, and you can do this for armors. You can do this for your body, your gloves, your boots, and your helmet. I haven't done to that because the armor scraps are very... It's not common, it's very rare. I haven't found a lot of them, and I'm not going to pay exalted orbs for them. They do drop, you know, just look out for them. Okay, so next thing that I want to talk about is ring qualities and catalysting. So what are catalysts? That is something, again, not a lot of creators are talking about, and which most people will not know. So if you're watching this and you've now learned this, do leave a like, do subscribe, you know. So these are called catalysts. Catalysts can give you a quality on a ring or an amulet. So on this ring, I have physical modifiers. So if I hold in Alt, which will show me its tiers, usually it would say tier 1, tier 2, but it says there at the end it's tier 3, tier 4. So this ring isn't really that good. It's really not a great ring. It's actually very bad because the lowest tier, the lower the tier, the better, is 3. So it's very, very bad. But it works for my build, and I'm happy with it. So the base value of my... So this is physical. So the base value of my damage was 427. Alright, so now, because I quality to 20, we are now doing 428, which is not that high of an increase, but my leech at the bottom, the leech 8.59% of physical attack damage, was originally 7.16, and I got more than 1% increase. increased on it, which is ridiculously a lot. 1% on, let's say you're doing 40,000 damage, is a lot of leech. So, you know, it's going to keep me alive a lot better than original value. Now, with this ring over here, my sword finger, the increase was more dramatic on my life. So the original value was 114%, and then I lifed it all the way until 136. So that is 22 more life, which, if you know anything about Path of Exile, 22 life is a lot, especially on a ring. The difference between a ring with 100 life on it, or let's say 114 life on it, and a ring that has 130 life on it is probably like 20 exalts different, depending on the modifiers. Of course, on the ring, I'm not saying all rings with 20 more life is going to cost 20 exalts different, but this specific particular ring will, because it has all element resistances, so that's cold, fire and lightning, and those are very rare and very expensive on rings. So I took this ring from, I think I bought it for maybe 10-15 exalts, and that's now worth probably 40 exalts. So if I ever wanted to sell it, will make a good profit on it just by catalysting. Do remember that you can catalyst only once. If you catalyst life on it, but you also want defense on it, it will remove the first quality and then put on the second quality. So you can rinse repeat the whole time on it and infinitely, but you know, I'm not sure about the numerical values that you do get. It might be random, it might be set. I feel I've done the physical modifiers twice on this one, and the percentage increased 4 to 8 was the same both times. So yeah, but catalysting your rings and your amulet, this one has chaos modifiers on it because I'm trying to get a chaos resistance just a little bit higher. The increments on this is very low, so yeah, it hasn't gone up at 5%, so I'm sure at 10% it's probably going to go up at 1. So sometimes it's kind of useful. I can probably put it into my attributes if I really wanted to, but I don't want to. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't really add that much, but maybe 1 or 2% sometimes is a lot, depending on your belt. Okay, you can't do any quality to your belt, so you can't quality it with armor, and you can't quality it with catalysts. It's only the rings and the amulet. So yeah, catalysting is a good way of just making your rings and amulet just that much better. Next thing we're talking about is corrupting. Corrupting is a great way of just boosting your character with that much more damage or defense. So your two-handed weapons like these, they will only come with 2 slots. You cannot add more. This is the maximum. So then you can take runes. Runes are these fantastic things. So if I wanted, and I looked at this thing, I can just do like maybe no, hold on, no, yeah, this one. So we take this one, we put it in here, and boom. Now it is doing 14 to 22 more fire damage. So this thing's damage has just gone up exponentially. So it's a much better bow now. I've destroyed it now. It was worth 20 exalt. It's not worth 22 anymore because I've destroyed it. But it's fine. It's for the video. It's for the purpose. I don't really need money in the game because I have a sip and sag, and that's really expensive. So I'm proud of myself. Anyways, so naturally you can only get 2. So as you can see, this one has 3, and I'm going to show you why it has 3. So if we take this Vol Orb, right, and we would try to corrupt this one to potentially get a 3rd slot, you have a chance. Do remember that doing this is it's ill-advised, but also if you really want to just gamble it, you can, because it can drastically change your stats on your weapon. It can also destroy your weapon, like the stats wise. It can just do stupid stuff to it. So it's just do it, you know, very carefully. Think about it. Do you really need to try to get that 3rd slot? Is it really worth it? So yeah, I did it on my weapon because I was going to sell it because I found a better weapon. So I was just like, yeah, sure, man, let's do it. Let's just corrupt it, see what happens. And I corrupted, and I got a 3rd slot. And now it has 60% increased physical damage on top of 108%, plus 35 to 40 more physical damage. So it's doing a shit ton of physical. Not the best weapon at all, not nearly. I've seen weapons doing up to like 700 DPS. This one does about 600, so it's high, but it's not the best. So yeah, so we're not going to do it. I'm going to corrupt it. It didn't corrupt. It did do something great though. It added 10 to 18 chaos damage. So now it's chaos damage weapon, but it's still destroyed nonetheless. Okay, so that's corrupting. You do have a chance. You can do it as much as you want to on different weapons, only once per weapon. So I tried this one, didn't work. I can try this one as well. It's not a problem. I don't mind. It's throwaway weapons anyway, but we can try again. If it succeeds, fuck me, it succeeded. So now this weapon is worth a shit ton of money. So I'm just going to put it right back there. I'm going to sell that baby. It starts as shit, but I mean, somebody's going to be able to put 3 slots on it. So that is corrupting. You have a chance at it. The chance, the percentage, I'm not sure what it is. It's probably like 0.1. Because at the end of the day, the developers at Grinding Gear Games, they do hate you. And yeah, that's just what it is. That's a joke, of course, but naturally they do hate you. So don't take it personal. Okay. So, next thing we want to do and talk about is none other than trading. So, now that I have successfully corrupted this weapon, I want to sell it. So, how do I do that? I have something called Path of Exile Overlay 2. It is a app or let's just say a program in Overwolf. So, if you have the Overwolf app, I'll show you this. I don't mind showing you this. So, you can go apps, and then it has a lot of apps. So this one is called Path of Overlay 2. I just don't see if I can find it without searching. We can't, so we'll just search for it. Path of Overlay. So there's 1 and 2. So Path of Overlay 2 and Path of Overlay 1. This is Path of Exile 1 exclusively, and this is Path of Exile 2 exclusively. So you can just use this. So you press Alt E after it's installed, and it will pop up this window. And now you can go like, it has 3 sockets, so I just want to search that and see how many people have 3 sockets. A lot. So then you can go like, okay, what is important here? So I know that the physical damage is important, the lightning damage is important, and the increased elemental damage is important. So I think this is the main things. And you can take the chain of an additional time. Yeah, that's also very important. Then I can search this. Then I get no results because not a lot of people have the same bow than I do. So we can do this. So there's only 4 people with the same bow, and has 3 slots. So now I can determine, saying that, okay, so the highest is 10, but I've only used 2 of my modifiers. So if I try to go higher, maybe I can find a bow that costs less. There's no bows that cost more than this. And I can't even use the chain or the increased elemental damage. So I know that the bow is at least worth more than what other people are putting up. But obviously it's very deterministic, so you have to estimate how much you think this bow is worth. And yeah, so probably I will try and sell it for, it's got 3 slots. I can't find any other bow on it with the same modifiers on it, so it's obviously very rare. So I'll probably just sell it for, let's say 30, 20 to 40 exalts. Obviously I'll start at 40, and if it doesn't sell within a few hours, and I'll decrease it until I can get someone to buy it. So yeah, and that's how you trade. Path of Exile 2 Overlay also adds a few nifty tricks. So you get this little thing up here when someone tries to trade with you, right? Then it will give you a nice pop-up, it will give you a nice sound. You can then respond with auto commands on it. It's really a great tool for you to use, and I would highly recommend using only Path of Exile or Path of Overlay 2 and not any other app, because there are a few out there that basically hacks your data. The developers say it's open source, it's friendly, blah blah blah. Do not trust it. Only trust official apps in an official trusted software. So Overwolf is very much trusted. It has hundreds of games on it that uses it, so trust it. I mean, if I just press Alt and Shift and the squiggly line, it's going to pop up my Discord. That's Overwolf that does this for me, so I don't have to have a second monitor to have Discord or Alt tab out of the game. It's very nice software. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is stash tabs. Stash tabs are a very interesting thing. So when you start out Path of Exile, your Path of Exile 1 or 2, it's going to look a lot different than mine. You'll only have these 4. These are called your common stash tabs. They are free to use. Every person gets them. But their functionality is very limited. So if I were to right click on this, it's going to give me a window, and in this window it's going to allow me to allocate an affinity. So let's say I want to put currency in here. So any currencies that I have right in here, I'll just do this. Well then, if I stay in this window, I just sorry, shift click it, or, well, right, control click it, sorry. Instead of going here and being 44, it has now gone here, because this is my allocated currency tab. So no matter how much I do it in any window that I do it from, it's always going to go here until I change it back to this one to put it back to a currency, because this is my currency tab. So yeah, so that's how that works. And then obviously now it will go back here. So this might look different for you if you're new to Path of Exile 1 or 2. You know, because these tips are vice versa. It can work for both games. Some of the things that I showed, like the catalyst thing, doesn't, but most of the information I've given you works. Also, rune socketing doesn't work in Path of Exile 1 at all. So yeah, some of the things you can take over. So these are called premium stash tabs, these green ones. I can change the color to whatever I want to. So let's say I want red or blue, purple, you know, whatever I want. This is a nice color. How about a bit of pink? So I can change this as well. It also serves the second purpose, just, you know, from just being a stash tab. So if I were to go here and I have items in here that I want to sell, let's say I want to sell these things that are 1 exalt each, I can right click this and it's not going to work at all. It's not going to do anything. But if I wanted to, I can take it here, we sell it. I can right click it here, I can put an exact price, and then I can sell it from here. So then I don't need to use the trade at all. I don't need to type anything in here. So most of the people that are spamming here, they're either scamming you or they just don't have premium tabs, so it's fine. So these are what premium stash tabs do offer you. They offer you to a lot of more things, you know, affinities, selling things, colors, names. It's nice. So, you know, I really do recommend buying stash tabs. They are 99% of the time that you would play Path of Exile, they are on sale. So right now we have a lot of stupid stuff on sale, but a lot of the times you will see that stash tabs are on sale. And whenever this happens, I highly recommend that you go out and just, you know, put in some money, buy a premium stash tab. It does make the game easier for you, especially if you can trade directly from your inventory or your stash. You know, just great stuff over there. Okay, last thing that we're going to talk about today is skill gems. Skill gems are, well, you know, skill gems. It's what makes you what makes you attack, what gives you nice little abilities, you know, stuff like that. So skill gems are very common. So you will take, yeah, we know this, but did you know that you can quality them? Yes, you can actually quality your skill gems. And if you quality them, they get an extra line, which makes them stronger. So, for example, if I were to take Charged Staff over here, which is one of my primary abilities that make my build work, it's part of the engine. We'll talk about engines in a second. If you have an engine like this, Charged Staff gives me a lot of damage. But since its limit is with how my build is created, it has a limit of 60 seconds or 59 seconds on which it will last, which is not that long. Especially if you are running a tier 50 map like I am, and there's a lot of mobs, you're like getting sweaty, you're getting into it, and you're not watching the timer tick down. It's like, oh damn, that was a minute, that quick, and then, you know, you're back to attacking like this instead of, you know, a lot of waves coming out of your weapon. So I qualityed my Charged Staff, and on the top line reads 20% increased skill effect duration. So 20% on 59, that's about 109 seconds, about around there, 110 and 11, about. So it gives me almost 10 to 20 more seconds on it, which is a lot more. If you don't think that's a lot, it is a lot. So qualitying some of your gems might just make your build much stronger. I've done it with Falling Thunder as well, and I do believe I've done it with Cast on Trees as well. Or one of these gems I did quality as well, that will allow me to crit a lot more, which in turn made my build work so much better. Okay, so that is skill gems. And then the very last thing that I want to discuss quickly is engines. Most builds do not have engines, some do. An engine is basically when one gem offers another gem something. So for example, in my build, which I primarily use Tempest Flurry to attack, but as soon as let's just do a runaway. We'll just quickly do a runaway throwaway map. So these are things I can just throw away on. We just need to find an empty. There we go. So just to give you a demonstration on how this works, we'll go into this map. Forge. I hate this map. So we go into here, right? So this is my, as you can see, my skills are very limited. So we just go like this, boom. So that's my first engine. So now I cast on crit, right? Cast on freeze, then it gives me a power charge. Now my power charge activates, my staff becomes illuminated, and now I am literally Darth Vader shooting blue beams at enemies. And as I kill and freeze them, I will get more charges. So all I have to do is just run, freeze, and boom, I get more charges. And the more charges I get, the stronger I become. For example, I have now currently 3 on them, so I just press it again. Now I have 7, which is maxed, and I have 111 seconds on my ability. So now I have more time, and that's how it works. And it's just going to repeat itself as much as I have, as much as I need it to. Basically, well, I don't have a choice on it anyways. So essentially, and this works then for the next engine of the build, is the more power charges I have, the stronger this ability gets. As you can see, it does like a lot. I just need a bit more of an open space just to demonstrate just how big it gets. It's a very limited map. I don't think I'm gonna get the opportunity to do so. Okay, great. Just give me a second. Obviously, I'm not sure about other builds if they have the same engine, different engines where it requires one skill gem to give another skill gem things, because it's literally my skill gems are doing this. Ooh, I'm getting some good loot here. Okay, I just need a nice open space quickly. I don't want to run the whole map to demonstrate what I'm doing. So just whenever I get to a nice little open area, I do believe there is some. Okay, this will do. So if you can see, I do this. It has a lot of streaks. I just need to do it again. Okay, so now I have 0 power charges. Look how pathetic this ability is now. So I press it. It does nothing. There's literally nothing. It just does nothing. It can kill stuff still. You know, it's not useless, but it does nothing. So as I'm getting power charges, then it allows me to do more damage with my weapon and my abilities, and that's called an engine. So think about that when you do build a build. No, actually I forgot to mention 2 things. We'll quickly mention them and then we'll end. So basically, just to explain how my engine works, it's basically I have 2 auras that give me Herald of Ice, and then another one that gives me Herald of Thunder. This is just my damage. That doesn't really calculate into my engine. So what Herald of Ice does, it allows me to freeze enemies, and when I freeze them, they shatter. And when that happens, this little bitch activates. It's called Cast on Freeze. So when I freeze them, this one casts, then it uses Profane Ritual, and then it takes the body on the ground and then converts it into a power charge. Obviously, I'm going to change this very soon to something much easier to do, because this takes some time to, you know, start the engine going. It's like an old diesel truck. It just takes forever to get operational. And so as it gives me power charges, then I can use my charged staff. And then when I activate charged staff, then I get a lot more damage, and I have Raging Tempest, which is just a lot of more lightning damage, and essentially I am then going like a Ferrari, vroom vroom. Okay, last 2 things very quickly that I want to show you is Path of Exile 2, trade. This is how you trade for specific items that you need. This is the best way to do it. You can search wherever you want to. So let's say I want a headhunter. If you don't know anything about a headhunter, it's one of the rarest belts you can get, and one of the strongest belts you can get in the game. It's just an absolute fantastic belt. When you kill a rare monster, you gain its modifiers for 20 seconds. So if you're doing a map that has a lot of modifiers on it, or rare monsters on it, you get a lot of modifiers, and you literally become fucking One Punch Man. So you can take that with a grain of salt, whatever. So this is how you do it. You can type in anything you want to. So let's say I want this belt, and I will click here. I don't want this belt, but you can click on Direct Whisper. If I click on Direct Whisper, it's going to send to someone a whisper inside saying that you wish to buy this belt. You know, and that's how you trade. This is the best way to trade. If you want something more specific, let's say you really want a high evasion body armor, so you go like body armor, then you can click on equipment filters. This is very important. Then you say, let's say you want a body armor of at least 1000 600 evasion. You press enter, then it's going to show you all the evasions, body armors that has evasion. I wouldn't buy these because they're already rune socketed, so never buy anything that has rune sockets unless you are okay with the rune sockets that are inscribed in it. As I said, there's a lot more body armors with a lot more evasion currently available, but they're really expensive. So yeah, let's say you would really just want to hammer down on that evasion. You can then type in, so you always press shift and then the button next to 1, the squiggly line, I forgot what it's called, and you type in evasion, so then you can say evasion rating. Then you press search, and then it's going to show you again with that modifier on it. Then you can do it again with evasion, and then you can say increase the evasion. You can't do the same thing twice. It's, you can't be stupid about it. It's just going to show you the same results. And you can say this again, and again it's going to show you body armor that has evasion rating and increased evasion rating. And let's say you want life. So as you can see, the number is going down at 3060. So 3060 matches found. So then if I press search again with a life on it, it's then going to decrease that number all the way to 1755 matches. So you can keep doing this to be very specific. Let's say you want increased evasion rating or of, let's say, 100%. I don't think they well, we have 799 matches. So then it's going to show you all body armors that have at least 100% increased evasion rating, and this is a great way of trading and finding very specific items. This will be in the description of the video, so it's going to be very easy of use for you to get here. Just a side note, you do need a Path of Exile, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation and or Epic Games account to use this site. You cannot use it without a account. It's just to, make sure that you're not a scammer trying to scam people out of items or whatever. So, safeguards and all that. Next thing you want to do, if you have a build and you're really struggling to get to endgame, you're having a hard time clearing maps and all that jazz, then you can come here to Maxroll. Maxroll has a lot of builds on it. It also shows you some nice creators that use Maxroll. So the best one here, of course, by far is Zizarin. I really highly recommend watching his channel. He does a lot of videos. He does a lot of tips. His tips are not really tailored towards new players. He might have done a few videos on that. I haven't watched him in a while, but he's always done Path of Exile 1 videos where he does a lot of tips on the league that's coming out. And just generally a great guy. So, watch him. That's my recommendation. But on this build, on this site, again, this might not be the only site that offers builds. This is the only one that I know of that does builds. I'm not saying this is the only one or the best one. I'm saying this is the one that I know of. Personally, if you know of others and you can use them, I find it... I find that Maxroll is really good. So let's say you're playing a sorceress, right, and you're doing fireball and you're really just struggling for damage, you don't know what to do anymore, you're at wit's end, you can just come here to Maxroll, you can find what you're looking for. It's really easy actually. So let's say, again, let's just be very specific about it. So we can go build guides, click on that one. You can choose whatever you want to. So Druid, Duelist, Huntress, Marauder, they're not in the game just yet. They'll be arriving soon. So those are data mines, ignore it. So let's say you're playing a mercenary, you can click on this. You can say you're doing endgame, you can click on this again, and then you'll find builds for mercenaries in endgame. If you do, you can sometimes you can even select your ascendancy if you really want to be that specific. You can say you just want to see all builds for a warrior with the Warbringer ascendancy. You can see all builds that are currently available for it on this website specifically. Again, not saying this is the only one or the best one, just saying this is the one I know of. It is very detailed, it is very nice. It is these Captain, Garbage and everybody else that makes builds on this website, they do a lot of effort. They put in a lot of effort for you. I don't know what this is playing, this is stupid. They'll show you exactly what gear they're using. To a degree, of course. Some has more detailed gear, but this one is very limited. But basically what this means is you can have a weapon, 200 weapon, a physical damage of 204 max. And it shows you 2 modifiers. Those are the 2 main modifiers that you absolutely need on your weapon for this build to work. So this weapon needs to have the increased physical and a 5 to 14 physical damage for it to work. So essentially I do believe... Get lost, bro. So I do believe this is just a physical build, so you need a lot of physical damage. On this helmet you need life and cold. Never follow the resistances, you do this on your own. So how I do it, which is a great and effective way to doing it, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you type in 150 on a calculator as such. Calculator 150 is how much you need. That's the end game value of how much you need to get at 75 cap, and then you go divide by 8. I really wish this would stop playing. It's super annoying. I clicked you once. Would you stop, please? Sorry about that. So then it shows that 18.7, so let's just make this 19. So this is how much resistance of all types you need to get on all gear, at least the minimum value of to get at 75 capped. But let's say now you buy a weapon, it has 32 fire on it. Now you're like, that is almost double what I needed the minimum requirement. Then you just take 150 minus 32 on your fire specifically, then divide by 7 because you already have one piece of gear, and now you need only 17 on average. Again, terribly sorry, let me just close this because it's super annoying. So then you need 17 on average again. So you do not just go say, okay, he has 30 here, let me get 30, and it's 20 here. Just do it this way. It's much more effective, and as you get more gear, your number becomes less, and then this number, if you're going over the limit the whole time, so let's say instead of getting 17 you get 22, then the number is going to get less each time you put on a new gear. Obviously the last two will give you the highest possible numbers, but still, this is an effective way of getting to 75. It works very well for me, and it has worked out great for my build, so that's how I did it. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have watched it until this point, I do hope that the tips that I've given you are effective and helpful and have shed some light on some things that you might have been concerned about. Of course, you are very welcome to talk to me in the chat, in the comment section. Just if you have more questions, I generally can answer most questions. If it's about mapping, bossing, mechanics and stuff like that, I can help you. Obviously this is a quick guide for tips and tricks, well, not tricks, but just tips on general things that most players might struggle with. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and peace. I am gone. Bye bye.